In January 2024, a federal judge ordered the unsealing of nearly 200 court documents connected to the legal proceedings surrounding financier Jeffrey Epstein. The release included deposition transcripts and sworn testimony that had remained sealed for years. Although the documents did not introduce new charges, they renewed public attention on a case that has continued to raise questions. Jeffrey Epstein was a New York-based financier who developed relationships with politicians, academics, business leaders, and public figures beginning in the 1990s. He presented himself as a wealthy investor and philanthropist, though the origins of his fortune were never fully explained. Over time, he acquired properties in Manhattan, Palm Beach, New Mexico, Paris, and a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. In the mid-2000s, Epstein became the subject of a criminal investigation in Florida after allegations surfaced involving inappropriate conduct with underage individuals. Law enforcement identified multiple accusers and described what they believed to be a broader pattern of misconduct. In 2008, Epstein entered into a plea agreement with federal prosecutors in Florida. He pleaded guilty to state charges and served a sentence in county jail with work release privileges. The agreement later became the focus of significant public criticism, particularly regarding the decision not to pursue federal charges at that time. After his release, civil lawsuits continued for several years. In July 2019, federal authorities in New York arrested Epstein again, charging him with federal crimes related to the exploitation of minors. The case brought renewed scrutiny to his past conduct and associations. On August 10, 2019, Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell at a federal detention center in Manhattan. The official ruling classified his death as suicide. Investigations later revealed failures in monitoring procedures at the facility, which led to internal reviews and ongoing discussion about detention oversight. Legal proceedings connected to the case continued after his death. In 2021, Ghislaine Maxwell, a longtime associate of Epstein, was convicted in federal court and sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in facilitating illegal activity involving minors. The documents unsealed in January 2024 stemmed from a 2015 civil defamation lawsuit. That lawsuit generated extensive testimony and depositions involving individuals who had interacted with Epstein over the years. The released records included references to flight logs, communications, and statements given under oath. Some well-known individuals were mentioned due to prior associations. However, being named in court filings does not imply criminal wrongdoing. It is important to understand that the unsealed materials represent only a portion of the total case record. Many documents remain sealed due to privacy considerations and ongoing legal matters. Several questions remain unresolved. One concerns the full scope of Epstein's professional and social network. Another involves the controversial 2008 plea agreement and how it shaped subsequent investigations. The circumstances surrounding Epstein's death also continue to generate discussion. While official investigations concluded suicide, documented failures in jail oversight contributed to public skepticism and calls for transparency. Additionally, questions persist regarding Epstein's financial operations, including the source of his wealth and the structure of his business relationships. The release of the court documents added further documentation to a case that has already spanned nearly 2 decades. While certain individuals have been convicted, the broader picture remains complex. For those who came forward, the legal proceedings represented a step toward acknowledgement and accountability. Even with newly unsealed records, the full extent of the events connected to Jeffrey Epstein may never be entirely known. And with portions of the legal record still sealed, public interest in the case is likely to continue. The Epstein case continues to be discussed not only because of the crimes involved, but because of the broader institutional and systemic questions it raised. Many observers have pointed to the complexities of investigating individuals with international connections and significant financial resources. Cases that span multiple jurisdictions often involve overlapping legal systems, privacy protections, and procedural limitations. The public release of court records in 2024 did not create new charges, but it did provide additional transparency into past proceedings. For some, the unsealed documents represented an effort to increase accountability. For others, they reinforced concerns about how certain cases are handled when powerful networks are involved. At the same time, it is important to distinguish between documented evidence and speculation. Being referenced in court filings does not automatically imply criminal conduct. Legal records often include names in the context of testimony, professional relationships, or prior associations. As investigations conclude and records are reviewed, what remains is a complex legal history that continues to influence public debate. The Epstein case stands as a reminder of the importance of due process, transparency, and careful documentation in high-profile investigations. And even with thousands of pages now public, some questions may remain unanswered for years to come.